Once upon a time, there was a man who owned splendid town and country houses, gold and silver plate, tapestries and coaches gilt all over. But the poor fellow had a blue beard, and this made him so ugly and frightful that there was not a woman or girl who did not run away at sight of him. Amongst his neighbors was a lady of high degree who had 2 surpassingly beautiful daughters. He asked for the hand of one of these in marriage, leaving it for their mother to choose which should be bestowed upon him. Both girls, however, raised objections, and his offer was bandied from one to the other, neither being able to bring herself to accept a man with a blue beard. Another reason for their distaste was the fact that he had already married several wives, and no one knew what had become of them. In order that they might become better acquainted, Bluebeard invited the 2 girls, with their mother and 3 or 4 of their best friends, to meet a party of young men from the neighborhood at one of his country houses. Here they spent 8 whole days, and throughout their stay there was a constant round of picnics, hunting and fishing expeditions, dances, dinners, and luncheons, and they never slept at all, through spending all the night in playing merry pranks upon each other. In short, everything went so gaily that the younger daughter began to think the master of the house had not so very blue a beard after all, and that he was an exceedingly agreeable man. As soon as the party returned to town, their marriage took place. At the end of a month, Bluebeard informed his wife that important business obliged him to make a journey into a distant part of the country, which would occupy at least 6 weeks. He begged her to amuse herself well during his absence, and suggested that she should invite some of her friends and take them, if she liked, to the country. He was particularly anxious that she should enjoy herself thoroughly. "Here," he said, "are the keys of the 2 large storerooms, and here is the one that locks up the gold and silver plate which is not in everyday use. This key belongs to the strong boxes where my gold and silver is kept. This to the caskets containing my jewels, while here you have the master key which gives admittance to all the apartments. As regards this little key, it is the key of the small room at the end of the long passage on the lower floor. You may open everything, you may go everywhere, but I forbid you to enter this little room, and I forbid you so seriously that if you were indeed to open the door, I should be so angry that I might do anything." She promised to follow out these instructions exactly, and after embracing her, Bluebeard stepped into his coach and was off upon his journey. Her neighbors and friends did not wait to be invited before coming to call upon the young bride. So great was their eagerness to see the splendors of her house. They had not dared to venture while her husband was there, for his Bluebeard frightened them. But in less than no time, there they were, running in and out of the rooms, the closets, and the wardrobes, each of which was finer than the last. Presently they went upstairs to the storerooms, and there they could not admire enough the profusion and magnificence of the tapestries, beds, sofas, cabinets, tables, and stands. There were mirrors in which they could view themselves from top to toe, some with frames of plate glass, others with frames of silver and gilt lacquer, that were the most superb and beautiful things that had ever been seen. They were loud and persistent in their envy of their friend's good fortune. She, on the other hand, derived little amusement from the sight of all these riches, the reason being that she was impatient to go and inspect the little room on the lower floor. So overcome with curiosity was she that, without reflecting upon the discourtesy of leaving her guests, she ran down a private staircase so precipitately that thrice or twice she nearly broke her neck, and so reached the door of the little room. There she paused for a while, thinking of the prohibition which her husband had made, and reflecting